Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Walker. Welcome back to the Maverick News Channel. Great to have everybody here, especially the Maverick family and our new viewers, wherever you may be tuning in from around the world. Tons of stuff to talk about tonight. Officers shot in Charlotte. We'll bring you up to date. Russell Brand is talking about, well, he's not talking about it. He is converting to Christianity. We'll talk a little bit about that military training exercise that they'll be conducting up around Goderich, Ontario. Kristi Noem shot her dog, and now she's paying the price politically. COVID, shot in the arm, vaccines, mainstream media finally acknowledging vaccine injuries, or at least vaccine injury claims in Canada. We'll talk about that. Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, causing more problems for the former president, rather. He's now a TikToker. We'll show you what that looks like. And these pro-Palestine protests on university campuses, they continue to spread all the way up here to Canada, U.S. style. We'll show you what I mean. Donald Trump Jr. coming to Canada. The World Economic Forum has been quietly, well, not so quietly, they've been discussing the future of the world economy over the past 2 days, and almost nobody is paying attention. But we have been right here, and we'll tell you what that's all about as well. So we do have a lot to share with you this evening. I know you're not going to want to miss any of it, so don't go away. I will be right back after this.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, let's start with the, if I can, Oh man, I lost that. Okay. Let's start with this shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina, where at least 3 officers serving a warrant were slain, 5 others injured in a harrowing shootout. This according to authorities. The U.S. Marshals Task Force descended on a suburban home in Charlotte to apprehend a felon wanted for firearm possession. As they approached, the suspect opened fire, resulting in a deadly exchange that claimed the lives of 3 officers. This according to Police Chief Johnny Jennings, who has revealed that the suspect met his end in the front yard. However, the danger did not end there. Another individual inside the home unleashed gunfire, wielding a high-powered rifle, intensifying the standoff. Following a tense 3-hour confrontation, armored vehicles stormed the property, eventually leading to the apprehension of a woman and a 17-year-old male. Both are now under interrogation. The toll of the confrontation has been devastating. Alongside the 3 fallen officers, 5 others, including a member of the task force, sustained injuries. The identity of the fallen agent remains undisclosed, as does the affiliation of the other 2 officers. Among the wounded, 1 officer remains in critical condition tonight. Eyewitnesses described a scene of chaos and terror as gunfire echoed through the neighborhood. Reports emerged of armored vehicles careening through yards, rescue efforts underway, and the unsettling aftermath strewn across lawns and streets. The gravity of this situation prompted the closure of surrounding roads, including Interstate 77, to expedite the transportation of the wounded to medical facilities. Ambulances, escorted by a convoy of emergency vehicles, raced through the streets, sirens blaring. We have some video to share with you from Charlotte, North Carolina. You can hear shots ringing out in this video shot by an eyewitness.
Nigga, they busting, nigga. Oh my God. Nigga, they busting, nigga. Oh my God.
We also have these images from the scene tonight. Just checking the Twitter scroll for this. And this is from Greenbelt Police publishing this video. I'll bring this up for you. Here it is.
Okay. Y'all was at 6927. 6927. 35 shots fired. What's the shot fired?
Signal 13. Signal 13, shots fired. Shots fired. 1453, shots fired. What's your location?
I read Strong Hills.
Strong Hill, shots fired. All units responded, shots fired. Strong Hill.
Again, that video from police released today. And this from a further distance back. Sorry, that's a repeat. And here we go.
officer shot. Suspect barricaded himself in the house. SWAT's up there around the corner. Can't see SWAT because we're not allowed.
So that's where we're at tonight with the situation in Charlotte, North Carolina. Eyewitnesses there just described this as a scene of chaos and terror. So we'll continue to monitor this. So you have police there still continuing the investigation. And throughout the evening, I will try to check to see where we are at with the reports on casualties, the injured, and keep you posted. What else do we have tonight? Well, I guess it's appropriate, at this point, to just touch on that training exercise that the military is going to be conducting in Canada. In a number of locations across the country, actually, but the main focus seems to be in Goderich, Ontario, where people are worried. The military is going to be conducting what they call wellness checks. Here, I'll show you. Well, first of all, let me run this to just show you how people are paranoid about it, scared. And I'm going to take a slightly different approach to this tonight. And I know some people are going to shout at me in the chat. I'm going to prove what I'm about to tell you. Not that that will make any difference, but I'll prove it to you anyway. That'll just make some people's heads blow up. Anyway, listen to this person first. Okay, so I'll let them speak, and we'll get their perspective, okay? There she's saying, don't open your door! Because she thinks it's some conspiracy.
Had interesting. My good friend, Big Red Wolf, has just sent this to me. Goderich, Canada's prettiest town, military exercise 2024. The Canadian Armed Forces will be conducting an emergency exercise in Huron and Bruce counties between Friday, May 3rd and Sunday, May 5th. Goderich residents will notice a military presence throughout the town as soldiers will be stationed in the community over the weekend. There is no reason for concern. No reason for concern after Justin Trudeau says he wants to use the military against the people. Let's continue to read this article, shall we? Realistic training exercise for soldiers. Soldiers will be conducting firefighting training, wellness checks, simulated search and rescue operations, establishing cooling centers for what? For what? All of the fires they're about to start? As well as other activities. These exercises will be conducted throughout Huron and Bruce counties. Wellness checks or door knocks will be performed in Goderich on Saturday, May 4th. Soldiers will be going door to door and speaking with residents to simulate what would happen if they were asked to check on the well-being of residents during an actual emergency. Question is, what emergency? All measures are being taken to ensure minimum inconvenience to those in the area. Members of the public are asked to take extra caution if approaching military vehicles and troops and are thanked in advance for their understanding. Why should we take extra caution when approaching military troops in our small rural towns? There's something big on the horizon, folks, and you better giddy up and be ready. And I don't even know what ready looks like at this point because we don't know what's actually coming, but there certainly fucking is something. Good.
Okay, you can hate me. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, and then you can hate me, and you can not watch me anymore, and you can boycott the channel. You can take your paranoid delusions and go someplace else if you want to. But here's the God honest truth. People like that are clickbaiting you. Other news outlets who are making a big deal out of this are full of crap. This is not a big deal at all. This is a nothing burger, and I will show you why. There's something really big happening. It's a conspiracy. They're conditioning you. Horse hockey. This is routine. It's a routine training exercise. They do this all the time. They've been doing it since before I was born. They do this all the time across the country in all kinds of communities, and they follow a procedure where they alert the public and they issue public notices, they do media interviews, which they've done. And all this is just a routine training drill, and they like to do it up around that area because of the geography, because of the area that it's in. And they take the troops from that area and they just go out and they do these sort of routine training exercises. They do them all the time. But all these people getting people jacked up should be ashamed of themselves. They are making you paranoid, and this is a very dangerous situation now. A lot of people stirring up distrust in the military when all they're doing is conducting a routine training exercise, so that now when they go to do a practice wellness check, because this is for soldiers, some of whom are probably brand new recruits, and they need to learn how to conduct themselves in an emergency situation to help you. They're not there to hurt you. They're there to do a wellness check. So, for instance, if there's a wildfire, and in Canada, we use our military to help fight wildfires. That also is a routine thing. And what's coming up? Wildfire season. So they're going to train in case there's a wildfire. And there will be in Northern Ontario. And there's going to be all across the country. They've already started. So they're getting these guys ready so that if they need to go house to house to tell people to leave their homes so they don't burn to death, they know that they can get used to interacting with the public and know how to speak to people, and then they can turn it into a routine. Instead of just sending somebody off willy-nilly without any training at all in an emergency situation, you see, there's a protocol to be followed to protect your privacy, to protect you from a variety of situations, to protect your rights, to do things legally, to respect your property. That's the truth. And they do it all the time. Oh, Rick, you don't know what you're talking about. They don't. They're just They're conditioning us to lock us down in 15-minute cities. That's not what this is. Here. Let me show you. Military drills. You can Google it. Military drills, Chatham, Kent. This is my hometown. They did them here last year. Canadian Army to conduct emergency response exercise in Chatham, Kent, where I live. Over 600 Canadian Army soldiers from 31 Canadian Brigade Group, headquartered in London, Ontario, will conduct exercise Arrowhead Response from April 14th to 16th, 2023, in multiple communities within the municipality of Chatham, Kent, Ontario. That's one. That was last year. They do them all the time. And the same scenario, they alerted everyone, made sure everybody knew, so that when you see the military vehicles out just driving around, the green trucks with the camo on them, and the soldiers out doing their thing, you know what it is, so you don't get alarmed. And yeah, you don't want to be running up to a bunch of soldiers in the middle of a drill, so yeah, you should exercise extra caution before approaching the military during a drill. And if they come to your house and knock on the door, they're not there to hurt you. They're knocking on the door because they're practicing, warning people that there might be something dangerous, like, I don't know, a nuclear war. Oh, see, that shows that they know it's coming. Well, of course they know it's a possibility. Nuclear weapons are a real thing. And so, you know what? I'm glad that they're doing this. Thank God they're training and preparing to help us if there is an emergency, if there is a war, there already is a war. Indeed, you know what? I would say that given the level of the crap that I'm seeing online surrounding this, I'd say that somebody is waging war against your freaking brains. The people that I see out there freaking out, turning into paranoid schizophrenics because of this routine military training exercise, which is really needed now more than ever, and everybody seems to be against it. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not routine. They just did another one, just that one last year, and that was it, because that's conditioning you. Just shows that they're, no, how about this? Okay? They do them every year, multiple times during the year, all year round, different communities, all the time. 2021. Canadian Army training in Middlesex Centre. Same thing. This one conducted in February during the winter, so they could do winter training exercises. Just up the road from here. An hour. That was 2021. I'm telling you, 2021, you can go and Google them. You can find the old news releases. It's all out there. It's true. I'm not lying to you, but the other people are exaggerating the hell out of this. And it's a very dangerous situation because they're preying on people who are mentally vulnerable in particular, and putting the mentally vulnerable at risk, especially those who maybe have some sort of mental illness, pushing them very close to the edge, maybe over when the military knocks on their door. I'll tell you this is so irresponsible, what I'm seeing other streamers doing, other media outlets doing with this. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I'll tell you, some people are so paranoid about this, they either are not going to answer their door, as that woman is telling people to not answer your door, and you don't have to if you don't want to. And the military won't do a damn thing. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to break your door down. They're not going to come into your home. They're not going to do anything. That's not what they're there for. And the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, will be there too. But that woman is like, don't trust them. They're going to... She's got everybody so jacked up. Not just her, but a whole bunch of people that I'm seeing. You know what the danger here is? That somebody is going to take this so seriously, and they're going to be so afraid because of the fear-mongering that's going on with this, that when police or military knock on their door to conduct a simulated or a training exercise wellness check, which is to knock, 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 hello, Mr. Smith, this is a training exercise, and we're just here to let you know that we're in a simulated fire zone, and if this had been an actual emergency, we would be asking you to leave your home and go to a safe area like the community center down the road. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Smith. Have a nice day. No, Mr. Smith, if he's on the edge, probably going to go to the door with a loaded gun or something to that effect, and then you're either going to end up with a dead soldier or a dead person on the inside of the house. It's that serious, because I'm watching and I'm looking at all the social media threads, and it's a constant just a flood now of people freaking out. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people posting online, that this is some government military operation to hurt people. No, it's not. Guys, it's not. Stop. For the love of God, stop before something terrible happens. And I'll tell you this, I hope that police are watching this broadcast tonight, because you actually have a very dangerous situation now that's been really ramped up. The Canadian military needs to take note of this as well. I'm the only one telling you the truth, other than, confronting this fear-mongering that's going on. I mean, you've got the regurgitation of the media release from the military saying we're going to be conducting this military exercise, and that's been distributed locally by the mainstream local media. But beyond that, what we're getting now is national attention focused on this through live streamers who are just clickbaiting you. They're grifting off it. They're getting you to watch and click and watch and share and get upset, and they're screwing with your head. It's dangerous. I hope the military, I hope police are taking note. And this is happening up in an area where they do these kinds of things as a routine. But, we've seen other things with First Nations peoples up there in the past where things have gotten a little dicey at times. Dial it back, man. Really. This is all it is. And I know that the military has done some, weird things, especially during the pandemic with their psychological operations and things like that, where they were engaged in some kind of weird stuff, I guess. I get it. That wasn't really drills so much. They were experimenting is what they were doing with psychological warfare. And, that's a whole other issue, though. But what this is exactly what I told you. So chill. It's not like some new thing. It's not some special thing just this spring. It's not a one-off. It's not conditioning because there's some big thing gonna happen and they're getting ready for it. It's not, a big lockdown's coming. Yeah, well, I keep hearing that too, and everybody has been predicting that for the past, since the lockdowns came off, everybody's been wrong consistently, including Chris Sky, your favorite prophet. Wrong about mandatory masking, wrong about more lockdowns several times. It's not true. So, hate me if you want. That's okay. I ain't freaking lying to you. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon. I'll tell you, if anybody gets hurt, there's going to be some people with blood on their hands. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Looks like we have a question. Let me see here. Just looking in here, I don't see that. From Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm scrolling back. Jennifer. What's the question? From Jennifer. Jennifer has a question. Happy to answer any questions, if I can. There it is there. Is this the question? I see Leo and Pam and others who were banned on Rumble. I don't know what I did that you won't unmute me. I supported you in donations and I subscribed. Wow. Well, if you're muted, then... Oh, you're on YouTube. I see. I see. I don't know, Jennifer, but I'm happy to go over there and unmute you. I wasn't aware that you were muted, but I would be happy to do that. Don't know what the circumstances are surrounding that, but I will take care of that for you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, how many people hate me? Let's put my hate messages up on the screen. Johnny says, Rick, head check, practicing for future martial law. Hey, Johnny, you are freaking paranoid and delusional. I just told you exactly what it is. That's all it is. How else are they supposed to train? They do it all the time, several times a year. It's not out of the ordinary. Not out of the ordinary at all. And if you have martial law, it doesn't mean that the military has to go marching around in the streets all the time, you know. That's not the way it works. It's just a series of laws and restrictions that they put into place. And yeah, the military can be involved and police as well, but they just put restrictions in place during times mainly of war. So if there is a war, then you have martial law that comes into effect in order to maintain public order at a time of extreme risk. And countries do it all over the world when there are major conflicts. So there it is. Check your signal texts, Rick. Okay. I'm going to do that right now. Let me just see here. Okay. I see. Not sure. Yeah, okay. That's Jennifer. Right. I'll take a look at that. I can't do it right this second, but I'll try to get to Jennifer. I'll take a look. I'll try to find out what happened, and then I'll address that for you. So, and yeah, I mean, John, do you want them to not train? All you guys who are paranoid about this, like seriously, you know, the Canadian military, the Canadian military is so benign with their canoes and pop guns that, I mean, really, they're used more for civilian duties like fighting forest fires, or, you know, I've seen them used during extreme snowstorms to help people, to pull cars out of snow drifts and ditches when you've got major snowstorms and an emergency is declared, a state of emergency in some area, and they'll bring in the military to assist first responders to help people, to save people. I think that's a great use of the military myself. I'd rather see our military out there fighting forest fires and saving people from snowdrifts rather than go off to a war zone someplace. And if they do go off to a war zone, I'd prefer to see them helping people, pulling them to safety, or acting as peacekeepers. That's what our military is mainly supposed to be used for anyway. And that's what this is all about. This is about keeping people safe during times of emergencies. So, yeah, you know, and I don't know how much, what are they paying you, John, to go in there and keep people scared to death? Like, I mean, I swear to God, Like, are you on somebody's payroll? Love you, man, but come on. Stop scaring the crap out of people. It's just what it is. And it's okay. The Quran says Rick's a whack-a-doodle do too. Okay. Okay, who else hates me? Okay, come on, haters. Bring it on. Rick, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. I've been out to these things. I know exactly what they are. I've covered them. I've been there many times over the years. Linda 08 says ice storm, cutting trees, floods, doing sandbags, fire. That's right, man. That's what they're practicing for in this drill. That's what they are practicing for. They do military training as well, but they do those things out in fields, in farm areas, and they sometimes will block the areas off to keep the public safe so that nobody goes near them while they're doing those things. And those are not like live fire exercises either. Racing Wolf says, not sure the military can fight a war. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty competent guys. We just don't equip them properly. And we gave all the weapons to Ukraine. So what are they going to do now? Go fight the fires. Awesome. Okay, good. Good use of the personnel as far as I'm concerned. They're going to need all the help they can get out there because the fires have already started out in Alberta. We've seen that. So it's going to be another, and we didn't get much snow this year at all in a lot of places, which means without that snow cover, no runoff, it's already a very dry spring, going to be an even drier summer unless we get a lot of rain. Going to need those guys fully prepared and equipped to go out there and help in any way they can over the fire season. So that's what it is, guys. Please just keep your heads screwed on straight. Stay safe. Don't freak out if you see these military folks. They're just, you know what? The truth of the matter is, these soldiers, they're just your neighbors. They're just doing their job. That's what they're doing. And today's soldiers are tomorrow's veterans, and we honor those guys, right? They're there, and they'll be putting it on the line for us at some point if asked. That's what they're there for, and they'll be putting it on the line to fight the fires, help during the floods. Yeah, do all these things. So just calm down. It's all fine. It's okay. Okay? Okay. Deep breath. There's my public service announcement for the day. Here's a tribute to the fine people who fly those fighter jets.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
I don't know if this is the right order to do this story in, but it's here right now, so I'll just do it anyway. Russell Brand, he'd kind of fallen off my radar entirely, but today I see this headline. Oops, where did it go? Yeah, it's there. Oh, I lost him. His picture went away. Okay, well, Russell Brand, I guess, here, I'll bring it up over here. He is converting to Christianity. Wearing a cross and everything. Oh, man. See, this is the online streamer, influencer. Pretty popular guy, right? I'd kind of forgotten about him, honestly, because I hadn't heard much about him in, 2 or 3 months. He was really on a riding a wave of popularity, and then there were these allegations of sexual assault Russell Brand announces he is getting baptized as a Christian, describing it as an opportunity to leave the past behind. Man, oh, do you believe it? I'm going to ask you guys in the chat tonight. Do you believe that Russell Brand is really trying to turn over a new leaf, becoming a Christian? He's getting baptized after spending several months exploring the Christian faith. Brand, it says here in Business Insider, who was previously Buddhist, says he saw baptism as an opportunity to die and be reborn. So he'll be a born-again Christian. Yep. Brand's gravitation, it says here, toward religion comes in the wake of several allegations of sexual assault. British comedian and actor turned political influencer Russell Brand has announced his plans to be baptized, culminating a months-long search exploring the Christian faith. He says, "This Sunday, I'm taking the plunge." He posted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter. Let's run that. You guys can tell me if you think that he is being sincere.
Die and be reborn. This Sunday, I'm taking the plunge. I'm getting baptized. At the moment, I'm very curious as to what you who have been baptized feel about it, what your expectations are of the event prior, and what it's actually like. What's been explained to me is it's an opportunity to die and be reborn, an opportunity to leave the past behind and be reborn in Christ's name, like it says in Galatians, that you can live as an enlightened and awakened person. Sometimes I think of non-Christian perspectives on it, like Marcus Aurelius saying, "You are already dead, now live the rest of your life properly," or the Buddhist saying, "Put down the corpse." All of these things seem so inviting and beautiful. I know a lot of people are sort of cynical about the increasing interest in Christianity and the return to God, but to me it's obvious. As meaning deteriorates in the modern world, as our value systems and institutions crumble, all of us become increasingly aware that there is this eerily familiar awakening and beckoning figure that we've all known all of our lives within us and around us. And for me it's very exciting. One of my concerns is I'm thinking about doing it in the River Thames, so I could be getting sort of baptized in toxoplasmosis and E. coli based on what I've learned. So I may be leaving behind the sins, but I might be picking up some pretty serious viruses. Let me know what you guys think about it and how you feel about it. Thanks.
Yeah, you tell me what you think about it in the chat right now. I wouldn't recommend doing it in the Thames. I wouldn't do it in the Thames River here either. We have the Thames River that runs right through this town, and I wouldn't jump in there. I know the stuff that runs off into that river. Yeah. Well, unless you're George Carlin, right? He swam in rivers of you know what. Yeah. Oh yeah, Merrick, I think she's saying that they have drills out in BC as well. Military drills, yeah. Let me see. What are you guys saying about this here? Not sure. Trying to find a comment here that makes sense, that isn't part of a message thread. So Cabo Gal says that's his business, not mine. She doesn't care. And Mary McGregor says she agrees people have to stop scaring us and use a little common sense. Yeah, thank you. Yep. Yeah. Here's what Lori's saying here. Funny how these celebrities suddenly find Jesus after they've been accused of doing bad things. That's kind of my thought, too. Oh, my. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a way to sort of wash off the scuzz that is sort of that he's self-immersed in. He didn't need to jump in the Thames to pick up some crap. But Merrick says, I think it's genuine. Ricky's been searching for quite some time. Maybe it is. It could well be. I don't really watch him enough. So, Mouth of the South says he trusts the military more than government ID. Open my door, offer him food. There you go. I told you the other night, if you want to make friends with the cops, just take them donuts. They'll be on your side. And Laurie says that Russell Brand does look like Jesus. True enough. Uh-huh. Joe says Russell has big lips. Don't know what that means. Yeah. Anyway. Merrick says he was searching long before the allegations against him. May well be true. As I say, I don't watch him enough or know enough about him to know one way or the other. So appreciate that. Thank you, Merrick. All right, guys, hang on. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back on the other side.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, mainstream media. This isn't the first story like this, but it is becoming more common, and I would say this is a positive development, not only in terms of journalism, mainstream media news, but for the country. Here in Canada, we're now seeing mainstream media reporting on vaccine injuries. This story in particular focuses on this man, Desir Otabachi, who has been living with some sort of a medical condition after being vaccinated that leaves him with extremely itchy skin. It doesn't stop. He can't make it stop. It's burning and itching on all different parts of his body. He gets sores on his skin. He is taking some medication that provides only very minor relief, apparently, and he has a physician who is backing him up in his claim for Quebec's to take advantage of Quebec's vaccine injury support program. This guy is only 30 years old, and because of this medical condition that he now has, he's having, extreme difficulty paying his bills. Can't pay his rent, can't pay his mortgage, or his rent, can't afford to feed his family because he can't work. So he needs help, and he has this lawyer working with a doctor to help him. And now finally we're getting recognition of these issues by mainstream media. So I just bring that up briefly for you tonight because it shows, that the tide continues to turn here. And they actually go on in this story, which is a Yahoo News story. What's the original source for it? CBC. So there you go. The government state broadcaster actually coming out and covering a few stories regarding vaccine injuries. So fear not. People are people, and eventually the truth prevails. So, let's move on to, excuse me, the situation on campuses across the United States and Canada, where pro-Palestinian encampments continue to flourish and even expand. It's not just in Canada, it's not just in the United States. This one is in France, but didn't quite work out the way the protesters had planned. I'll show you what happened in France first, then we'll move back here to North America and bring you up to date here. So this is the way the French police handled them. Oh, hang on. Something wonky happened there. Mom! They're no fair. Help me, Mom. The police is dragging me away. Yeah. So they were trying to set up tents there to create a liberated zone, the way they have at campuses in the U.S. and now in Canada too. That was at Sorbonne Université in France. And in Canada, we're seeing similar efforts at universities, including, I believe, McGill, UBC, and the University of Ottawa, or as Tucker Carlson would say, Ottawa. Oh, man. Yeah. The University of Ottawa issuing this statement today. And it looks like university administrators on many campuses in Canada are prepared to take a much harder line on this. At least they say that's what they're going to do. We'll see if that actually happens. Here's what the message was from the University of Ottawa today. Dear U Ottawa community, it says, we continue to feel the pain and anxiety that many in our university community are experiencing due to the scale of suffering in the Middle East, and we are carefully observing the latest wave of protests that are occurring in the United States and now in Canada. We are hearing that one is planned in front of Tabaret on Monday. As always, our institution supports and protects the right to peaceful protest as a cornerstone of both our university mission and our democratic life. In fact, our university Senate's statement on freedom of expression in the university context, dated September 19, 2022, reaffirms the freedom of expression of all members of the university community within the limits set by university policies and regulations and by the provincial and federal laws that govern us. See, there are limits to free speech. And they are identifying said limits right there. The statement highlights in clear terms that, quote, protecting freedom of expression in a university setting and academic freedom must be seen in light of the university's fundamental mission, that is to create an inclusive environment for teaching and learning and for knowledge creation and transfer. It goes on. Nevertheless, everyone in our university community has the right to feel safe and respected We have forcefully and repeatedly affirmed that no incitement to violence or incidents of harassment or hate, including Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, will be tolerated on our campuses. These critical responsibilities are institutional priorities, and we will act in accordance with our policies and regulations to ensure the safety and well-being of each member of our community. Page 2. Our policies and regulations clearly outline the responsibilities of all community members, including Policy 130, Student Rights and Responsible Conduct, and Policy 28, which states that temporary use of university space for an activity is a privilege and is not a right. That's quite true. They do control the grounds. These policies, it's not really entirely public space. These policies make clear that acts of misconduct, such as the use of university facilities contrary to the express instruction or without proper authorization, carry serious consequences. While peaceful protest is permitted in appropriate public spaces on campus according to our policies and regulations, encampments and occupations will not be tolerated. In conclusion, we ask everyone to thoroughly consider their responsibilities and the well-being of our entire community. We continue to call on all members of our community to treat each other with respect and empathy as they interact in our classrooms, common spaces, and online. And that is the statement. And what did we see on campuses today? Let me see if I still have it queued for you. Well, we did see some action down there at the University of Ottawa. I know there was some action at UBC. Looks like some of my tabs were closed. Indeed, that is the case. Let me see if I've got a shot here. Here we go. So this is the University of Ottawa. Sorry, got to cue it here for you. There we go, rock and roll. That's what it looked like. University of Ottawa today. Thank you, USA. You always set the trend. It's true. Here in Canada, we watch U.S. media, and whatever happens in the United States, we always have to do it up here too. We always do. We're not usually in the lead. Not usually. Occasionally. But usually we just follow the lead of the United States. So if people lose their minds south of the border, we lose our minds here. If there's a protest down there, somebody up here has to do one too. Or maybe a bunch of people. So that's the University of Ottawa. And a bunch of universities actually in Canada have issued statements saying they just will not tolerate encampments. Here we go. Here's some. I'm going to take the music off that for copyright reasons. Here's video, University of Ottawa today. And they do want divestment, as they do. I guess, at least that's what they say they're calling for. At these protests on university campuses. So, pull that down. And here's a letter from Joel Harden of the Ontario NDP to the University of Ottawa. Go guess what he's asking for? Divestment. I'm not surprised. NDP Joel Harden, he says, This is to the president of the university. What if our actions here could help end a plausible genocide? This is the question being posed by members of the University of Ottawa community as they gather on Tabouret Lawn today for a truly heartbreaking moment in our world's history, blah, 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 blah. I won't read the whole thing because you know what the issue is and you know what they want. He's just saying it again in the letter. And yeah, here I can bring up this as well. Stills posted by Daisy Media. And there's that MPP, Member of Provincial Parliament, Joel Harden. These protests described in this post as pro-Hamas. So all that going on in Canada, and that isn't, as I say, the only campus in Canada now affected by this. You're getting it a number of campuses across Canada, and you're of course seeing the situation in the U.S. escalate in many places as well. Columbia University told students there that they would face disciplinary action if they remained in their liberated zone after 2 p.m. And last I heard, and I'll have to check here, the students still were there. Suddenly, well, this was the scene a short time ago, and I will have to check to see if this is the most up-to-date situation. But here's what it looked like at Columbia today. So there you have university faculty wearing those safety vests, and they linked arms, formed a wall, a human wall in front of the anti-Israeli students. That's what was happening there. So and I'm not sure what this is about. This is just being sent to me here. Clip of Pierre Poilievre today saying that Trudeau is blocking the recriminalization of crack, heroin, and other hard drugs. Yeah, we're talking about that. I think they're making reference to the story we ran here about the government out in British Columbia changing their drug laws so that drug use in public places will be illegal again, hard drug use. Let's just see what Pierre Poilievre has to actually say about this. Doing this on the fly, not vetted, but I'm sure he's not going to swear. Not his thing.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Thank you very much to all of you in blue, hopefully in more than one way. But in particular, thank you to Matthew. It's been at least a decade since one of your members has given me a speeding ticket, so that either means I'm being well behaved or I've been too quick to catch. So, but I want to thank you for keeping my city safe, keeping my kids safe here in the nation's capital, and thank all of you for doing exactly the same nationwide. And I know that my friend Frank, our Shadow Associate Minister of Justice, Frank Caputo, who is a former prosecutor that helped put the bad guys behind bars, appreciates your work as well. And thank you, Tom, for leading your association with so much dignity, competence, and common sense. We're hoping to make it common around here. But most of all, thanks to all of you for doing the absolutely impossible. You deal with the absolute worst customers. They hurl abuse, insults, and other trouble your way. They want to put you all on footage. They don't want you to have a camera. They want all of your conduct to be on camera so that they can slice and dice it, present it in the worst possible way. And then if you go through all of that danger, both political and physical, and get them behind bars, they're back out on the streets before you're done the paperwork of the arrest. I hear there's even an expression called FIDO. Am I allowed to say? It's an acronym, right? It's forget it, drive on, right? There's no other word there, is there?
Try it again.
All right. Well, I said WTF in the House of Commons, and somebody thought that I was being rude. I was just saying, where's the funds? These acronyms are actually very valuable, but I can understand why you might make the rational calculation to drive on when you look at an event in progress, because even if you interrupt it, and you take yourself out of action for 2 hours to bring someone into custody, they will probably be back out on the street doing wrong faster than you're back out on the street doing right. And obviously that doesn't make sense. Now, let's be clear, that did not just happen. This was not a court ruling that brought us the catch and release bail system, although there have been many court rulings to legitimately complain about. This was the direct result of Justin Trudeau's catch and release bail law, C-75, that he has not fully reversed. And as a result, the same 40 offenders had to be arrested 6,000 times in 1 year in Vancouver, 150 arrests per year. The same offenders that you see in the morning, you then see again in the afternoon, because they are automatically released on early bail. Car thieves are released under C-83. As a result, they can go out and steal another car, creating a brand new industry and resulting in one car stolen every 40 minutes in the city, in the Greater Toronto area. Car thefts up more than 100% in the GTA as a result of C-83 and our terrible port system, which inspects only one shipping container for every 100 that go onto a ship. 5 CBSA officers to handle 500,000 containers. Obviously, they don't have a chance against crime. Meanwhile, the government is planning to waste $160 million more on outside consultants for the public safety and CBSA departments, and between $2 and $7 billion trying to take away lawfully acquired firearms from licensed, law-abiding, trained, and tested firearms owners. This madness has led to an explosion in crime on our streets. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder in almost every community in this country. And nowhere is that worse than in the addictions that have now run rampant across the country. Since Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister, the number of annual drug deaths has more than tripled. In Vancouver, where his policies, in British Columbia, where his policies have been most enthusiastically embraced, that is decriminalization, tax-subsidized narcotics, and no enforcement whatsoever, there has been a 380% increase in overdose deaths. 6 British Columbians die every single day of an overdose. 6 every day. And that number is rising quickly. Since the decriminalization of hard drugs in public places took effect at the end of January 2023, there have been 2,500 deaths, a record-smashing annual number, a 380% increase since Mr. Trudeau became Prime Minister. They were always, remember that when we brought in the policies, common sense against drugs and crime, they always said, well, these might make for good bumper stickers, they might win applause at a rally, but they don't work. All the brainy people sitting at desks, writing reports, producing spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations, all those brainy people know that what you really need to do is release the violent criminals again and again and again, to decriminalize the drugs, and in fact go further, hand out the drugs with using taxpayers' money, and the results would be safety and utopia. Well, exactly the opposite have happened. We've had danger and dystopia, and today we see it ongoing. You know, Premier Eby in BC, NDP Premier, panicking because he's plummeting in the polls. His policies are so unpopular. But he's plummeting in the polls as people realize that their streets are turning into drug dens and crime zones. And so he's completely swallowed himself whole and said he wants to recriminalize the drugs that he and Trudeau just teamed up to decriminalize barely a year ago. And guess what happened? Trudeau won't grant his request. So everyone in BC thinks that the drugs are now recriminalized because Eby held a press conference. But he needs federal approval to reinstate the criminal code that Trudeau exempted the province from over a year ago. So to this day, to this moment, you can smoke crack, meth, use illicit fentanyl, heroin in a public park, on a transit station, in a transit station, train, or bus. You can, in a hospital, they're now using crack, heroin, and holding weapons. The nurses are afraid to go to work. At this very moment, you can do that. In fact, one nurse told her union that she had to skip out on breastfeeding her baby because she was concerned that the meth smoke she breathed in at the hospital might have contaminated her milk. That is the insanity we're dealing with. Now, one would have thought that on a Friday afternoon, if the Premier of NDP, of the NDP government in BC had said, Justin, we've really screwed up. This decriminalization experiment has been a nightmare. We have to reverse it. I would have thought he would have coordinated that and Ottawa would have had the deal done by midnight, so at least they wouldn't have to live more than one humiliating news cycle over their flip-flop. But what has happened, we're now almost 4 days later, and today the Minister of Drug Addiction said she's thinking about it. And it could be a while they ponder. Every single day they allow this to go on. 6 people die of overdoses and countless other die of the crime that results. My friend, this is insanity. The definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And when I'm Prime Minister, the insanity will end. We will bring in a common sense law and order and anti-drug policy to bring home safe streets once again.
Okay. So we'll dip out of that there. Donald Trump Jr. I have to say, too, I think the whole thing with the drug policies in this country, just my opinion, I think he's on point with it. It is insane. And it's caused far more harm than any good. I don't think it's caused any good. It's made things far worse, and these are very progressive policies. Out in British Columbia, you do have a new Democrat government, left-wing, woke, for sure. Donald Trump Jr. coming to Canada next week. Yep, for an event. The son of Donald Trump will be in Canada May 10th. At an event hosted by Rebel News. Not that this is a commercial, not getting paid by Rebel News. Mainstream media, some, heads exploding over there. Oh, and they stole our slogan. The world is watching. Oh, man, it's true. They stole our slogan. That's what they're using to promote the Donald Trump Jr. appearance at this event. The world is watching. Canadian censorship has gone too far. There will be other speakers at the event as well. Ezra Levant, Donald Trump Jr.'s main squeeze, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Glenn Greenwald will be there. Location, not yet announced, but if you're interested in that, you can go check it out. I'm not getting paid, no advertisement there, just making note of it because mainstream media, they seem to be having a bit of a conniption fit with Trump Jr. coming into Canada. You know, everybody, this perplexes me. World Economic Forum, on the lips of so many people, on the minds of so many people, really worried about the WEF, concerned about the way that they have these meetings at Davos every year. They formulate policies, strategies. World leaders all come together there. Industrialists, the executives from major corporations, they all fly in. Everybody gets upset if they think that any politician is a member of the WEF. But did you know that over the last 2 days, they've had a special meeting, a special World Economic Forum meeting, Global Collaboration, Growth and Energy for Development. That's what it was called. I've been watching it as much as I can. A lot of people, over 1,000 delegates to this special WEF conference, world leaders, and they've discussed a huge range of issues. I think there must have been probably at least 30 different sessions at this conference over the past 2 days. What were they discussing? The wars, Ukraine, Israel, and the economic impact of that, and opportunities. They've also been discussing digital currencies. And a lot of the focus here is on countries that are emerging economies and countries in the Middle East. They've talked a lot about the changing geopolitical landscape from a unipolar geopolitical reality to multipolar, meaning that you now don't have just the United States as the dominant superpower, both militarily and economically, in the world. You now have the emergence of BRICS nations and the proliferation of nuclear arms. And now you're seeing talk about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Let's pick up, I'll just run this portion of this session for you here to give you an idea of where they think things are at right now.
And beyond. So I'm not going to talk anymore. Let me introduce our panelists. To my left, Maki Yantis, the Innovation Transformation Team, Telcom SA SOC Limited.
Are there anybody paying attention to this?
To her left, we have Khalid Humaidan, the Bahrain Central Bank Governor. To his left, we have Yazid Al-Nafjan, the Deputy Governor, the Financial Innovation of Sama Central Bank. And to his left, we have Jihad Azur, the Director of Middle East and Central Asia Department at the IMF. So we have a fantastic panel.
International Monetary Fund. These are the heavy hitters, man.
I actually would like to start with you, Deputy Governor, because there's been a lot of talk about what Saudi Arabia are looking to do on the CBDC front. And I'm just curious if you can give us a snapshot of where we are in the process and what this journey has been like for you. Why did it make sense, or does it make sense, for Saudi Arabia to be looking at a CBDC?
Thank you so much, Jumana. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure having you in Riyadh, and it's a pleasure to be with esteemed colleagues in this panel. So the question on why are we exploring CBDC, I think if we go back on what Sama did, and focusing on identifying new innovative solutions to improve the overall payment infrastructure in the kingdom and increase its efficiency. And the approach of Sama has always been a practical solution-based approach where we try to identify issues and how can we leverage new technologies in overcoming said challenges. And it has resulted in the creation of multiple systems, which include RTGS, SDAD, instant payment systems, contactless payments, and mobile payments. And the culmination of these efforts translated into a strong advancement of the infrastructure of the Saudi market. It was recently announced that digital payment as a percentage of all payments in the kingdom rose from 62% in 2022 to 70% in 2023, exceeding our initial target that we set for 2025. And also in terms of volumes, the volume of digital transactions increased to 10.8 billion transactions, up from 8.7 in 22. So a strong 24% increase. So this means that as we explore new applications and new technologies, we need to think what solutions are they providing. So when we look at CBDC, we believe that CBDC as an underlying technology of DLT and as a concept has the potential to increase efficiency in certain areas where we don't see a pressing need for retail CBDC in Saudi, given the strong digitization of our current payment infrastructure. We see an interesting opportunity in the wholesale market in improving cross-border payments. The Saudi and the G20 under its presidency in 2020, we've included enhancement for cross-border payments as one of priority areas to be explored by the global community. And it was translated in October 2020 to this roadmap prepared by the FSB and other relevant committees that identified wholesale CBDC as a potential route to improve cross-border payments. As such, and we came into the G20, have been already experimented with our colleagues in the Central Bank of UAE under the Aber project, the proof of concept in using CBDC for cross-border settlement. So our experiments and study of how the wholesale CBDC can improve the market is ongoing. We believe that it can translate into reducing the cost, increasing the efficiency, reducing systemic risks, and increasing the overall transparency of the cross-border market if done correctly. And however, when you're doing the assessment and experimentation, it's not only about the technological solution, but we need to understand what are the potential implications on central banks' mandate and economies, mainly financial stability and monetary stability. And generally, when we look at the wholesale CBDC market, there are three models that are identified. We have the single platform, what is called mBridge. And we do have the enhanced compatibility model and interlinking CBDC systems. And at a global scale, no consensus has yet emerged on which the best model to adopt. So central banks should continue experimenting and testing the merits of each models. We at SAMA,
we'll dump out of this in just a second.
So the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, launched in 2021 mBridge project that aims to test the use cases of the mBridge platform in enhancing cross-border payments. SAMA joined it last year as an observer with the ambition to become a full member and learn from these kind of experiences and understand what are the implications, and also look at different design choices, policy implications, and all of that. So in conclusion, we expect that long-term, that CBDC infrastructure will coexist with current legacy payment, but work still needs to be done to understand how to achieve its full potential.
Okay, so we won't continue with that. I mean, the conference went for 2 straight days. It's just wrapped up. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, one of the main subjects to be discussed there. And as you heard, Saudi Arabia, quite far along in developing a system. They have things figured out where they want to go with it over there, and that just gives you an indication of, I think, where we're at globally. It isn't just something happening here. It's happening all over the world because of the pace of it, because of the march of technology. I think it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to stop it for those who don't want it. And I saw in the chat, John was asking me to explain what central bank digital currencies are, what a CBDC is. It's just, it would work like Bitcoin, but it would be an equivalent, a digital equivalent to an actual federal currency, a country's currency. So it would be like a digital version of a Canadian dollar or a US dollar. Governments, of course, like it because they don't have to print cash. They can just make it up digitally. So it's more cost effective that way. They don't have to mint coins or print paper dollars. It's all based on blockchain technology, of course. And it's all traceable, every last digital penny, which means they will be able to, I think, ultimately collect every last digital penny in tax dollars as well. You won't be able to hide anything if you're using digital currency, unless legislation is enacted in some way to protect your privacy when conducting transactions as a consumer. But I think that will be very difficult. So new technology, new issues, new ethics, new everything with it, really. Bitcoin, sort of a test run in my view for what is about to come from central bank digital currencies, not just cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are not government issued. Those are currencies of the people, really. But governments can track those too. They can get in there. They can. Doesn't matter. I think anything that is online, anything digital, even in the blockchain, ultimately governments have ways of getting in and getting information, or even confiscating things if they really see fit to do so. Cash is great, like hard paper money. Still my preference, because I'm so familiar with it, as many of you are as well. You take it in, it's entirely anonymous. I buy something from you, I give you cash paper dollars, you give me the item. Government doesn't even have a chance at knowing that transaction has happened. So there's absolute sovereignty in the transaction, if you will. Privacy. Government's not involved. And if it's a transaction between two private individuals, say over, a classified ad advertising some secondhand good or something, the government hasn't got any business being in there anyway. But they do subject even sales of secondhand cars to sales taxes. Every time the car sells again, they hit it again for another tax hit. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. The other concern, of course, for those of you who are not familiar, the concern is that government can control you by controlling your digital currency. Here's the truth, though. They can already do that. They can freeze your bank account. They can get in there. They can guarantee wages if you aren't paying your child support. There are all kinds of things government can already do using digital technology to freeze up your money. They don't need the CBDCs to do that. That's another hard truth for people who, I think, really are not aware They don't see the difference. Our currency, even the Canadian dollar as it stands now, is really a hybrid currency. Yeah, it comes in paper form and coins, and you heard him say that in Saudi Arabia anyway, they would continue with traditional hard paper currency alongstream the any central bank digital currency in that country. I think that we would see that here in North America as well. But it isn't just CBDCs they were discussing. They were also talking about smart cities, or as you would maybe call them, 15-minute cities, but smart cities.
Abdullah, Honeywell's expertise lies in smart building solutions. What insights can you share about the impact of those solutions on energy efficiency, sustainability, and occupant comfort in urban environments, particularly in the kingdom, if you have any examples to share?
So they're talking a lot about the Middle East here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy here on the stage, and thank you for the Ministry of Economy as well to host such an event with a great mindset leaders all over the globe. But if I ask the questions, what's the definition of the smart cities in this room? Probably I'm going to get 5 to 10 different answers. If we see it from city management perspective, they would like to have reliability system that improve the efficiency of running the cities. They would like to have a surface to improve the quality of life that's Noura is driving for all the citizens in the cities. And the last but not least, to have a productive societies and engagement with the citizenship who lives in the cities. And if we see it from the other angle, which is from the citizens who live in the cities and the communities, they would like to have the new technologies that has been the state of art that to improve their daily lives and lower transactional manual entries to the new day-to-day activities. And on top of that, safer and more productive cities. And if we just see globally, any municipalities, usually an average of 30 to 40% from their energy consumption bills goes to the lighting in the street. So if we just pick that as an example and apply energy efficiencies and IoT and smart city, imagine how that contributes to the society as well as the global carbon footprints. And if we pick also buildings as well, globally it's contributing 37% from global carbon emissions globally. So that's the essential of having sustainable building, sustainable community, sustainable society that we are all enjoying with our kids and family. And I think Neom is a great example that we are really proud to see that's happening in our country, from supply to demand. Where is the renewable supply and renewable sustainable solutions, sustainable buildings, and it will be a full experience that all of us will be enjoying, living, and seeing, inshallah, in the near future.
Thank you, Abdullah.
Okay, so I'm not, again, each one of these sessions, an hour and a half long, about 30 of them, I guess, over the past 2 days. They've been dealing with all kinds of different issues. So, but here's the kicker, right? Everybody's concerned about the WEF, but I know that in the audience there, a lot of empty seats, and if you go digging, you can find these sessions online, and these are sessions that involve world leaders making plans or discussing strategies that ultimately likely will have some impact on everything around the world, the way cities are planned, the way our economy works. And yet, you know how many people I took note of actually watching these sessions? Hundreds, like 150, 300. And this is a global conference involving like major players, world leaders. Anthony Blinken was there talking about the war between Russia and Ukraine, painting a completely different picture, I might add, in his address to the World Economic Forum than what we're being told here, which is, you know, he's saying that While Russia's economy is has been resilient through, and I'm paraphrasing, but the Russian economy has survived and has remained resilient and seems to be in reasonably good condition, pretty good condition, especially in spite of all the sanctions and the war. He says over time, in the long run, Russia's actually going to find itself on the losing side economically. Now, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to run all of that stuff because I don't really agree with his perspective on it. But that's the kind of information he was providing to the WEF. And worldwide, very few people, I think maybe 250, 300 people watched him or from around the world while he's delivering that information. That's the case with all of these sessions. So 2 days, WEF meetings, everybody talks about how concerned they are about the WEF, and yet there's hardly been any attention focused on this at all. I think we're the only media outlet in Canada probably bringing you this information tonight. There's more. There's all kinds of additional stuff that they talked about there. But you've kind of got some highlights, and it gives you a feel. There's just way too much material for me to share it all with you here tonight. Got a little taste of the smart cities, a little taste of what they're thinking in terms of central bank digital currencies. Kristi Noem, South Dakota's governor, has a new book out. And oh man, is she paying a political price for that. A lot of people have been looking at her as a prime contender for Trump's running mate in the presidential election. So, of course, this book not only put the spotlight on her, the book, in a way, sort of her waving a flag saying, "Look at me, Donald Trump, I'd like to be your running mate." So she has a fair bit of media attention automatically focused on her. But the thing that really has made headlines is the story she tells in the book about killing her dog, not lying. Yeah, she, well, here, let's take a look at this. First of all, I'll show you the book. So she had this dog. There it is there, Kristi Noem. My new book, it says here, and her post, "No Going Back," is my unfiltered vision for America. We're not going back to the old way of politics. And she says, and that's a good thing. That's the name of her book, No Going Back. Well, anyway, the story that she tells in this is about her dog. I believe it's, what's the dog's name? Kristi? Cricket. 14-month-old wire hair pointer. She said the dog was untrainable. She had it because she wanted to use it for hunting pheasants. And she took the dog out with some older dogs, hoping that those dogs could help teach this dog how to hunt. And I guess the dog went crazy, lost its mind, went all nutty. She couldn't control it. Got it back, it escaped, it went off, killed some of the neighbor's chickens or something. And then when she tried to get it under control, the dog almost bit her. So she decided the dog had to be put down. So she did it herself. She took it out to a gravel pit and shot the dog. So that's making headlines tonight. And there's also a section in the book where she talks about killing a goat in the in much the same way. So it's not a good look why she would talk about this. I guess what it comes down to is she strikes me as sort of a country girl, and country folks and city folks look at things like that a whole lot different. If you live in the city, you don't take your dog out into the backyard and shoot it to put it down. But if you live out in the country, you might. And I know people who have done it with pets that have become rabid or seriously ill in some way. And I know people who have shot their dogs. More common, I think, than people realize. But as a result of this, I guess Kristi Noem may have done something a little illegal, because under South Dakota law, any person owning, keeping, or harboring a dog that chases, worries, injures, or kills any poultry or domestic animal is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor and is liable for damages to the owner thereof for any injury caused by the dog to any such poultry or animal. So, I don't know. This is the stuff that they're focusing on, the mainstream media. So she goes on in this book and she says, I hated that dog. She shot Cricket and the goat in the same gravel pit. And she had to shoot the goat twice in order to get the job done. So, of course, there is this political firestorm that has erupted because of it. It's sad and it's kind of funny. And then I just, I don't know. Do you think that would hurt her? You think that would hurt her? It's one of those things, right? It's going to stick to her now, at least for a while, maybe for a long time. Kristi Noem, the politician who shot her dog. Oh, man. Yeah, and I'm not laughing about her shooting the dog, but I'm chuckling because I just know how politics works. This is one of those things. It's like, of all the things, why would you even talk about it? It's just, it's going to hurt you, and it's going to continue to hurt. This was a gift to the Democrats that's going to keep on giving. And if Trump chooses her now as his running mate, that will be an anchor around both of their necks, I think. I don't think the public's going to forget this one. And if they do, the media will remind us repeatedly about it as we approach that U.S. presidential election. Don't go away. Be right back.
Exile. The Knights of Malta. Maverick News. Join us. The world is watching.
See, and I told you Canadian universities are going to already taking a harder line with these U.S. style, as they're putting it, pro-Palestinian encampments. Here's a global news headline saying Ontario universities warn student activists encampments will not be tolerated. Two Ontario universities are warning anyone planning to follow the lead of pro-Palestinian student activists in the U.S. and elsewhere in Canada that setting up encampments on campus will not be tolerated. University of Toronto and University of Ottawa say they understand tensions are high. Many people are feeling anxious due to the scale of suffering in the Middle East, and peaceful protests are central to campus and democratic life. But the universities say they have clear policies that state the use of their facilities without proper authorization can carry serious consequences, and protests need to be organized within the limits of university policies and the law. So, taking a harder line right off the bat. Do they mean it? Time will tell. Time will tell. Oh, did you see that Al Capone's gun, his sweetheart gun, is up for auction? This gun could sell for as much as $2 million. As a pistol. Yeah. Capone's family says that the gun was used to routinely protect his life. Yeah. So this auction is going to go up for auction on May 18th. And 3 years ago, it sold for just over $1 million. So bidding on this gun this time will start at $500,000. And the experts say that this .45 Colt semi-automatic pistol, manufactured in 1911, which was one of Capone's most prized possessions back in the 1920s, could bring a price, ultimately, of as much as $2 million. If you don't know who Al Capone is, he's the guy, he's the big-time gangster who was behind the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Here's a look at that gun right there. Yeah. Okay. Back to those protests. UCLA anti-Israeli students physically blocked a Jewish student from entering the campus and moving about freely. So these scenes, we're told, are becoming more common. Definitely a concern. This is what administrators are addressing.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burr while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't they go? Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in to class.
We're not engaging in that.
Then you can move. Will you move?
We're not engaging in that.
Okay, we're going. We're going. I'm going in. I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them. You guys.
He's right. He's right. He has the right to go to class. He's a student. Yeah. Things are getting very heated. Oh, I forgot to show you this one. Here's another one of those training exercises from the past. I had this queued up for you too, just to show you, just to illustrate. I'm not making it up. This was one that was held in Alberta back in 2018. Same thing. Same basic drills. It's a routine, man. Toronto police have arrested 12 people facing 102 charges in total in connection with an investigation into a major fraud scheme. This was Project Deja Vu. Charges have been announced as of today. Detective David Coffey of the Financial Crimes Unit with Toronto Police Service says synthetic identity fraud is a form of financial fraud in which fictional personal information is used to open accounts at financial institutions and businesses. He says police began this investigation back in October of 2022. Officers had been contacted by a financial institution that came across several synthetic accounts. Police say that they believe most of those accounts were opened by a person who previously worked on behalf of that financial institution. And police go on and say that the perpetrators of the scheme, which began in 2016, are alleged to have created somewhere around 680 different unique synthetic identities. A lot of them were used to apply for hundreds of bank accounts and open them, along with credit accounts at different banks and financial institutions, mostly across Ontario. In fact, I think all of them were in Ontario. And these fraudulently obtained credit accounts were then drawn upon by using in-store and online purchases, cash withdrawals, or electric fund transfers. So, a lot of money involved over a lot of years. In fact, they're looking at, in total, about $4 million in losses. They've seized hundreds of debit cards, credit cards, and about 300 grand in Canadian and foreign currency, that being hard cash, not just, if you think about it, credit, a lot of that's actually digital, ultimately. Anytime someone loans you money, sometimes there isn't even really money there. It's like if they issue credit to a business and give you 30 or 60 or 90 days to pay, they've essentially created currency to be paid back over time without ever having currency there, like not physical money. The money, the capital is the physical goods. And then you have to eventually pay that off. If there isn't enough capital in the system or currency in the system, that's when things start to fall apart, because there isn't enough physical money in the system to support the transactions that are going on back and forth. That's when you get that reverse domino effect, or a run on the bank, when people can't pay their bills because other people didn't pay their bills, and there isn't enough money in the system in order for people to pay. Anyway, that's an economics lesson. We'll get into that maybe deeper another night in a way that isn't so dry. So, huge case involving this fraud. Not over yet. These guys are going to court. And with that much money involved, I'd say the penalties, if found guilty, could be pretty severe, folks. So yeah, they put up pictures of these guys as well. I'm not going to show you because I just have some legal concerns about showing their IDs. I want to make sure that if we do anything like that, we have everything properly blocked, and I'm not sure that we can do that at the moment. So we'll just refrain from sharing those images with you. But you know the story, and that's the most important thing. Yeah, that and that and that. Oh yeah, there was this. If I still have it queued up. See if I can find it here. I just wanted to show you. Looks like maybe we lost it. Just more protest action on campuses. I had a good clip set up for you, but it looks like we've again had it disappear off the tab list. So let me take a quick break here We'll come back. We'll share a little bit more of this stuff with you. All right. Here we go. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, what else do we have for you tonight? Air Canada has walked back a decision to charge a new seat selection fee. This would involve travelers booked on the lowest fares. So under their old policies, people who had fares that didn't offer free seat selection before checking in would be randomly assigned to a seat when they were checked in, with the option to change that seat to another available seat for free. But some Air Canada customers received notices just within the last few weeks stating that Air Canada would be charging passengers with standard or basic fares to change their automatically assigned seats during check-in. So it read, the notification was, we're introducing a new seating assignment process for standard or basic fares. When customers enter the check-in flow, our system will automatically assign a seat free of charge for those who have not purchased a seat in advance, and if they wish to change their automatically assigned seat, they can easily do so for a fee. Now, I was on, what was the airline that I was on to go to Costa Rica? Sunwing? I think so. I have to tell you, man, yeah, it was a Sunwing jet. I've never in my life been so cramped in a seat on any moving object or in anywhere as I was on that airplane. Oh my, the seat, so small. Maybe it was just me, but I swear, no, these seats were so close together. No real leg room. I'm not really like a claustrophobic guy, but I was getting claustrophobic. I had a window seat, and I was just losing my mind after a while. It was so bad. I swear to God, maybe it's just my imagination, but you tell me, man, are they rejigging the seats in these aircraft to put them closer together so they can get more people into them? Sure seemed that way. On that flight, it was not fun being jammed in there like that. I was so uncomfortable. Wow. Wow. More footage here of that shootout in Charlotte. Share that with you now. It's coming in. Just recent. Again, just be forewarned. This is unedited, so.
Like cutting our fence.
What? We're in my room.
Man. And back to the protests. This is the University of Minnesota tonight. Or earlier today, I guess.
We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Anywhere you can hide. We charge you with genocide. Anywhere you can hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. You a man, you can hide. You a man, you can hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. You a man, you can hide. You a man, you can hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine.
Interesting. Those chants. Interesting indeed. Yeah. That's a big story down there in Charlotte tonight, man. Wow. And this is the University of Austin. This, a little more aggressive. Here we go. I'll show you. You ever been to Austin? I've been to Austin. You know, Texas is viewed as a conservative state, but Austin is not conservative. It's like this little liberal blotch in the middle of Texas. It's just, it is progressive. The whole city is, not just the university campus, man. It's wickedly liberal. Here's police update on the situation in Charlotte. Bring this up for you. Here we go. Just a clip. This was just a short time ago.
The other officers, besides the officer that's in critical condition, the other officers are stable. The degree of injuries are varying, anywhere from a graze wound to a wound that requires a little bit more attention, but they are stable and expected to be okay.
And can you say if any of your officers who are shot in this, were they responding patrol officers? Were they SWAT officers?
Yes, I can confirm that we do have a sergeant who is assigned to the task force who was on the scene. That officer immediately called for help. The 3 officers, or the 4 officers that were shot, are officers who were responding to the scene.
So I hope that helps a little bit tonight. Wow, terrible. So again, let me just take a quick break here. I'm just going to check to see what the latest is on a couple of these stories, because I do want to give you the latest information before we end the broadcast tonight. So again, stay with me.
Hello, world. Are you awake? Uniting humankind by liberating millions of minds at a time. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, Columbia University has started suspending students. As we told you earlier, they said if those students didn't leave by 2 p.m., take down their encampment, they would start suspending them. And the vice president of the university has now confirmed that they have started to suspend students. They have not indicated exactly how many so far. And so it's just going to continue to escalate, man. Even if they clean up these encampments, these protests are not going away, because they are being, there's fuel being, like gasoline being dumped on these flames. So, very disruptive. Columbia was the first institution that was hit by these protests in support of the pro-Palestine movement. Very divisive, very disruptive for the country as we head into this next election. So that's where we are at with all this tonight. Now, tomorrow, I think I've got a great guest lined up who will help give us a greater perspective on the war in Ukraine. So I'm really looking forward to that. And we haven't had this person on before. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, because I don't like to do that until I know for sure that that this is going to happen. So I've been talking to this person for about a week, and I think it will happen tomorrow. So make sure you're here, because tomorrow you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a real good one. So looking forward to it. And with that, I will remind you that you can support the channel by donating at maverickdonations.com. And I am not going to lie, we do need some help this month. We are in need to cover these bills, and it is the end of the month. I'll tell you, it's not, what I'm doing here does not generate donations the way some of these other channels generate donations, because I'm honestly trying to just bring you balance and bring you information that will get you closer to the truth. I'm not always here promoting something controversial or presenting the information in a way to get an emotional response out of you so that you just click and donate. That being said, we do have the bills to pay, and I do appreciate the support we've had. If you are inclined to support us, if you send a donation of $30 or more, I can send you a Maverick News t-shirt. 45 or more, and I can send you a long sleeve tee. No charge on that. Just send the donation. Tell me what size you need. I'll send you the shirt. And I think we still have some embroidered shirts as well. Yes, we do. So I can send you one of those for a donation of 60 or more. And if you get one of those embroidered shirts, I think we've got some hoodies back too. I have some Hot Wheels Batmobiles, different styles from different movies. I got some more of those. I got really lucky, and I will include a Batmobile if you order one of those embroidered shirts or a hoodie with a donation of $60 or more tonight. You can do that also at freedomreporters.com. freedomreporters.com. That's the PayPal. And again, just tell me what size you need. You can have it in any color you want as long as it's black. And provide your shipping information, your address. If you need to email me or whatever, that's fine too. I'm easy to find. You can just go to the website at mavericknews.ca. There's the website. And if you need to send me a message, an email, you can find the contact info right there on the website. So I don't even need to put the email up, because it's a little bit difficult to remember for some people. But there it is, maverickmultimedia@mail.com. But just go to the website. You can send it through there as well. But there is a place to leave a message if you do send in a donation. Like, share, subscribe. That helps us. Doesn't cost you a thing. Make sure you hit the notification bell over on YouTube. Not broadcasting on Facebook. You know, that just isn't working out these days. But we are over on Rumble, and we really need your support over there. So if you haven't subscribed on our 2 Rumble channels, please consider doing that. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here with me tonight. A privilege as always. And I will be back tomorrow night. Same news time, same news channel, Maverick News, where we have the antivirus programs for your mind. Catch you on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.